Okay, so let's talk about Portgas D ace. You know the guy, fire, charisma, just incredible power. He had this smile that could light up a whole room, but you always got the feeling, right, that something was hiding just behind it. He was a brother, a pirate, a commander, but deep down, underneath all of that, he was just a kid who spent his entire life asking himself one question: do I even deserve to be alive?
I mean, on the surface, Ace was the absolute definition of success in the pirate world. We're talking about the second division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates. Only one of the most powerful crews to ever sail the Grand Line. He was respected, he was feared, and tons of pirates looked up to him as a leader. From the outside, it looked like he had it all: a place, a rank, a real purpose.
But see, that whole powerful exterior, it was basically a shield. Because underneath the commander's coat and those famous fiery fists, there was this deep, just gnawing uncertainty. And what's so wild is that this doubt wasn't just some passing thought. Oh no. It was the core conflict that shaped literally every single major decision he ever made. So you've got to be wondering, right? Where did a burden that heavy even come from? Well, to really get Ace, you have to understand the one man whose shadow he could never, ever escape: his father. A name so legendary, it was somehow both a blessing and a totally inescapable curse. Gold D. Roger. Yep, that one. The one and only king of the pirates. This guy was a global legend. To some, he was this total icon of freedom and adventure, but to the rest of the world, and especially to the world government, he was a daemon. His execution kicked off the great pirate era, for sure, but his legacy? Well, it left something else behind, too. Because Ace wasn't just some random pirate who looked up to Roger. He was his son. And that one single fact, a fact hidden from the entire world to keep him safe, became the source of all his pain. This wasn't some royal lineage to be proud of. To Ace, it was a dark secret that he felt condemned him from the moment he was born. And that right there leads to the question that haunted him for his entire life. I mean, really think about it for a second. Put yourself in his shoes. If your very existence is because of a man the world sees as the ultimate villain, what does that make you? Do you deserve to be happy? Do you even deserve to live? This was the battle raging inside Ace's head every single time. So desperate to find an answer, any answer, and just a reason to keep going, Ace went on a quest. But he wasn't looking for treasure. He was looking for connection. He completely rejected the family he was born into and decided to build one of his own. And this choice was everything. On one side, you've got the legacy he was born with, that blood connection to Gold D. Roger, a name and an identity he wanted absolutely nothing to do with. But on the other side, that's the family he built himself, the one forged by a vow. And at the heart of it, of course, was his sworn brother, Monkey D. Luffy. Protecting this family, well, that became his real identity. But his search for belonging didn't just stop with a brother. Ace needed a father figure, someone who could finally give him the acceptance that his own father's legacy always denied him. And believe it or not, he found one in the most unlikely person imaginable: his biological father's greatest rival. Now, building that bond was not easy. At all. Ace's first move was to try and take Whitebeard's head. He tried to kill him over and over again, trying to make a name for himself. But after every single defeat, Whitebeard saw something. He saw more than just Roger's kid. He saw this fierce, loyal spirit. So eventually, he made him an offer. Stop fighting me, join my crew, become my son. And right there, on that ship, under that Jolly Roger, Ace finally found it. He wasn't the Pirate King's son hiding in the shadows anymore. No, he was Whitebeard's son. He was a commander, a brother to his crewmates. He was valued for who he was, not who his father was. And for maybe the first time in his entire life, he felt like he actually belonged somewhere. But this is where the story takes a tragic turn. Because the very thing that gave him a purpose, that incredible loyalty and pride he had in his new family, that was the exact same thing that would lead to his downfall. See, his pride wasn't just arrogance. It was a desperate shield he built to protect this new sense of worth he had fought so damn hard to find. So here's how it all went down. It starts with a betrayal. A member of his own division, Marshal D. Teach, you know him as Blackbeard, he breaks the crew's one sacred rule, and Ace, as his commander, felt he had to act. He completely ignored Whitebeard's warnings and hunted Blackbeard down. For Ace, this wasn't just about rules. It was about defending the family that gave him a reason to live. The fight was monumental, but Ace lost. He was defeated, captured, and then handed over to the world government, instantly becoming the most high-profile prisoner on the planet. And his capture, well, that set the stage for his final tragic chapter. Imprisoned, waiting for a public execution, Ace was about to be forced to confront that lifelong question one last time, and this time it would be on the world's biggest stage. You know, the funny thing is, the answer he was looking for didn't come from inside himself. It came from everyone else. The Whitebeard pirates, all their allies, they stormed the Navy's headquarters. An entire army risked everything, launching a full-blown war, all to save one man. And they weren't there to save the son of the Pirate King. They were there to save their brother, Ace. And watching it all unfold, watching thousands of people fight and die for him, watching his little brother Luffy risk absolutely everything just to reach his side, it finally clicked. The truth just shattered all that doubt. His worth was never about Goldie Roger. His worth was measured by the bonds he'd built himself, by the incredible love his chosen family had for him. And in the end, that's exactly how he defined himself. In one final, totally selfless moment, he threw himself in front of a fatal blow to save his little brother, Luffy. It was the ultimate act of love, and it cemented his identity forever, not by his blood, but by his bond. Which brings us all the way back around, right back to that original question. So, did he deserve to live? After everything, after a whole lifetime spent searching for the answer in everyone else's eyes, did he finally find it for himself? With his last breath, he gave us his answer. And it wasn't one of anger or regret. It was just gratitude. He finally understood that he was loved. And for him, that was more than enough. That was the answer he'd been searching for all along. The fire that was Portgas D, Ace, it didn't burn out in doubt. It went out in peace.